Hey everybody, watch this review here with a look at the Final Fantasy VIII Guardian Force series Cerberus, which is put out by ArtFX. Wasn't going to do a review tonight because, well, frankly, I've done a bunch of reviews I still haven't uploaded because it just takes such tremendous time to upload. I mean, traditionally don't upload from home, but I've had to recently just because IT's been cracking down on some, well, internet usage issues. So, yeah. So I got this and the Odin the other day fairly cheaply. You can tell that they're both pretty dusty because I guess the person was at a want of space and was just getting rid of them. I paid $5 for him, not including shipping handling, about $10 for Odin, which actually is dramatically cheaper than you'd normally have found them even when they originally came out. This is the clear version of Cerberus, which is probably why he's a bit cheaper. So yeah, I'm gonna open him up. I just had to do this review because I wanted to show some package shots and stuff before I open it. I will save the package probably, although I don't think I'll ever get rid of the Cerberus because the Cerberus is pretty kick-ass. Even though it's a clear version, of course. I really want the Diablos though, but I probably will never get him because he's about a $50 or $60 figure every time he pops up anywhere. And I don't really think that he's worth $50 or $60. Gilgamesh won at some point, but once again, a little pricey. Ifrit, cheaper. I wish I bought him when he actually came out in stores, but it's a regret that I'm living with right now, and I probably will pick him up at some point. Possibly for the amount that he originally debuted for. Shiva, kind of want. Bahamut, I sort of want, but he usually goes for a pricier range, and I already have the Tiamat, which was a Toy Fair exclusive repaint, and I personally have always preferred Tiamat over Bahamut, just for the mythology associated. Oh god, I'm rambling. But that's the package. The packaging is the same on the Odin, but I'm just going to quickly open them up and show them off. 1 second. As you can see, there's some assembly required. I just wanted to show off a blister shot. Because honestly, I like how they're packaged in the blister. It looks like his head's turned upside down, but it's actually not, just because he had such a wacky design in FF8. Every FF8 was just a really crazy game. The big disappointment, of course, is there's no Quetzalcoatl figure released. But Phoenix, which is another one of my faves, was later on covered by one of the other ones. Both the Masters Collection and the Trading Arts figures. Down here is the little Angelo. Shoot, that was Renoa's pet dog. I totally blanked on Renoa. I have a Renoa figure, but it's not a Play Arts or any of the bigger ones, it's just a standard. Let me just quickly pull them out and show them off. Okay, I officially wish I had bought the painted version. If only for Angelo, or whatever the dog's name was, because it looks really tacky as a clear. I might get the painted version at some point. I don't think I'll do it in the near future, just because, first of all, as you see, this figure is a little unimpressive once you actually take it out of the box. Though it's got like the cool detailing and stuff, the articulation's basically non-existent, and it feels very, very gross. I don't know how else to put this, but the plastic, I don't know if it wasn't stored adequately or what, but you just feel it. It feels kind of slimy around the clear portions. The painted portions feel fine, but it's just these clear portions, like, oh god. And the tail, which looks, that's a booty shot by the way, the money shot there, but the tail doesn't actually clip in. It's supposed to go in there, the peg's supposed to connect, and once in there it should lock in, but it doesn't. Christ, that's annoying. I mean, it's right side up too. I mean, if I did it upside down it wouldn't work any better, but for now let's just look at the figure without the tail. tail doesn't have any articulation. Each of the mouths can open and close. The facial detailing is kind of cool. You have and the neck plates are awesome. But, you know, when you look at the face and stuff, just it lacking eyes is, or you not being able to see the pupils and so forth, does get a little annoying. That's why I've never really liked clear figures or whatnot. But, I mean, with the molds, or actually character design, like Cerberus from FF8, you don't really get a whole lot of, I mean, it's just such an extreme design. They opted for a lot of weird ones in that one, but just pop that closer there. A little more light in, get a little more detail, but the necks move a little bit, but they click right back in immediately. So I don't know if there's some sort of emotion or something I'm missing, but I fiddled around with him a bit, so I still wasn't able to figure out. I thought there might have been instructions or something in there, but there weren't. The legs look like they might move, but they don't. The only point that moves is the ankles, which only really moves side to side in that one. And then it does the full normal range of motion here, which I guess is just for the sake of posing him. You can even see that, because it's clear through actually, that they just opted for a little peg there as opposed to an actual ball joint, which ends in a peg. Maybe it's just a really malformed ball joint, but the other ones do look like they have the normal joint, so maybe this one's just stuck or something, but I'll figure that out. He doesn't stand very well as a result, because you can't move any of these parts here, which traditionally would help him stand, well, especially for these dog-like figures. For those of you familiar with FF8, this particular Guardian Force just gave you a bunch of stat things like haste, I believe, and some other stuff. Not a terribly useful Guardian, not a terribly great figure, so, you know, kind of goes hand in hand. In Greek mythology, he guarded the gates of the underworld. Hercules tamed him and led him to the surface as part of one of his 12 labors, I believe. I know Hercules went to the underworld. I don't know what he... Oh! Yeah, that was probably the most bootleg screamer ever, but yeah, that original video timed out, so I decided to just pop Monkey Man in to see if you guys are paying attention while I tossed and everything. I looked it up. It was the 12th labor of Hercules. Also, the other big mythological mention for Cerberus was when Orpheus went to the underworld after his wife Eurydice, I forget, died. And then went down there, used his music to tame the savage beast. They did something similar to that in the Harry Potter movies. One of them, I don't know which one. I haven't really read the books. I don't know if that also happened with the books, but it might have been the first one. I wouldn't know offhand, but they have like I think either Cerberus like monster or something. But yeah. But he goes down there. He tames, uses his music to get by Cerberus. His music melts the hearts of Persephone and Hades, and then they allow him to take his wife back up on 2 conditions. One, he must keep playing the entire time, I believe. The other condition is he must never look back until he reaches the surface. And of course, right when he's about to get to the surface, or he doesn't realize that he's not out of the cave yet, or that she's not out of the cave, he ends up looking back and he ends up losing her. She goes back down there, and then eventually other bad stuff happens to him. I think he eventually gets torn apart by a pack of the Bacchanalians or whatever. In general, I don't know why they bothered making these crystal versions, because they aren't really collector's items. They always sell less than the colored versions, and in general, they don't really look as good. The metallic versions occasionally look good, although even then, it's only really good on metallic-like characters like the Doom Train, which I have a miniature from the Trading Arts, but I've got to cut it short now because I am approaching that time limit again. So, until next time.